One of the unique situations that presents itself in guitar classes that may not appear in many other instrumental music classes is the requirement to instruct students of different skill levels in the same class. The teacher may be in the circumstance where students in the beginning or the intermediate class have had private guitar lessons or have done self-study on the internet. Those more experienced students are beyond the skill level of the other students in the class and maybe even the instructor. If asked to practice the same skills that the beginning students are finding challenging, they quickly become bored or they lose interest altogether. As teachers, I know we've all been there. How does the teacher keep the more advanced students involved and motivate without overwhelming the beginning students? Well, the answer to that question is the topic of this video. And it's one that seems to be of great interest to many teacher educators who attend the training workshops that I present for Consonus Music. The solution to the problem is called layered learning. In education circles, this is sometimes called differentiated instruction. Both terms refer to teaching skills on a variety of levels or layers. This means that a group of students can be playing the same repertoire, but are individually learning and applying skills at different technical levels. For example, the class could be playing the chord accompaniment to a piece with the less experienced students playing simple strum patterns, while the more experienced students play the advanced drum patterns to play the same music. You've now kept all the students in the class, regardless of their abilities, engaged and challenged. This concept can be applied to all of the basic skills, including chord fingerings, accompaniment techniques, and note reading. The challenge for the teacher with using layered learning in your teaching is finding the compatible layered groups of skills that correspond to the lessons in your curriculum. The next challenge is being able to deliver those layered skills to your more advanced students. All of those challenges are solved with the use of blended learning. Using layered learning alone is reason enough to use blended learning. The examples I'm about to show you are found in the blended learning classroom guitar curriculum that I designed for Consonus Music, and they're delivered in the Consonus online learning site. To let you see more closely how to apply the concept of layered learning, I want to walk you through several applications. Suppose you're teaching a class how to play the simple G and G7 chord found in Lesson 2. You have several students in your class who have already been playing guitar for a while, and they can play the simple G and G7 chords. To have them go over the simple fingerings of the G and G7 chords would be too simple and unproductive for them. To challenge them, you can access the layered learning section of Lesson 2, where you'll find multiple fingerings of the simple G and G7 chords. And they're not so simple in some cases. The more experienced students in the class can play the exercises and the songs in Lesson 2 using the more challenging fingerings of the chord, such as a G this way, or this way, or this way, or maybe even this way, or G7 this way, or maybe even this way. This page showing the more advanced fingerings of the G and G7 chords could be copied and given to the more advanced students, or better yet, if they have access to the Consonus site, they can view the layered learning section of this lesson, including the related video, on their phone, their tablet, or their computer. The layered learning section of each lesson is always available to them online. You've now kept all the students in the class engaged regardless of their skill level. Here's another example of using layered learning. The beginning students in your class are learning how to play an up strum and the first strum pattern for 4/4 that contains an up strum. This is found in Lesson 11, the down, down, up, down, down. You have students in the class that have already had some experience doing the up strum, and this strum pattern is easy for them to do. In fact, they can do it well the first time they even try it. For those more experienced students, you can go to the layered learning section of Lesson 11, where you'll find many strum patterns for 4/4 time. They're listed in order of difficulty. There will be strum patterns there that will be challenging for even the more advanced students in your class. While the beginning students in the class are playing the exercise and the songs in Lesson 11 using the basic strum pattern for 4/4, the more advanced students in the class are playing the same exercise and the songs using any one of the strum patterns for 4/4 that's appropriate for their skill level. For example, from the layered learning section, the more experienced students could be using a pattern like this one, or this one, this one. The more advanced students are being challenged, and the beginning students are not overwhelmed. As with all of the lessons, this page from the layered learning section of Lesson 11 could be copied and given to the more advanced students, or they could view the more advanced strum patterns from the layered learning section on their phone, their tablet, or their computer. In later lessons, when students are learning more complex strum patterns, the layered learning sections of those lessons show more advanced accompaniment patterns the students could be using, such as alternating bass or even finger picking. Now let's look at a situation where you're teaching tablature for the first time to your beginning students from Lesson 5. If you have seen some of my presentations, you know that I believe that teaching students tablature can be a great way to introduce notes. Tablature should not be used as a means of avoiding teaching the students to read standard notation, but rather a stepping stone to reading standard notation. In Lesson 5, tablature is introduced. The exercises and songs in Lesson 5 are written in tablature. Notice that the exercises and the song in Lesson 5, while written in tablature, the frets used in the tablature are the same as the fret numbers for the notes on the first two strings in first position. If you have students that are already familiar and comfortable with tablature, you could go to the layered learning section on Lesson 5, and there you'll find information on reading standard notation and the exercises and the songs from Lesson 5 written in standard notation. The more advanced students in the class can play the exercises and the song reading standard notation, while the beginning students are reading tablature. Again, regardless of the student's ability level, every student is learning a new skill. Another application of layered learning is used with the guitar ensemble pieces contained in the book. Some of the ensembles are written in tablature. As with the other tablature exercises and pieces, all of the ensembles that appear in tablature can be accessed in standard notation in the layered learning section of the lesson. For example, if the students are learning 6 Spanish strings in Lesson 17, which is written in tablature, the ensemble can be found written in standard notation in the layered learning section of Lesson 17. Of course, a certain amount of layered learning takes place automatically when teaching ensemble literature because some of the parts may be more challenging than others, and those more demanding parts can be assigned to the advanced students. However, if some students are very adept at reading tablature, you may want to challenge them by having them play their part in standard notation. The standard notation parts can be copied from the layered learning section at the site and given to the more experienced students. In the improvisation lesson of the book, the concept of layered learning can be applied by featuring some of the more advanced students as soloists while the other students play the blues accompaniment. Again, I want to emphasize that every lesson in the beginning course has a layered learning component attached to it. To make all of the layered learning material available to the students in a hard copy form would make the book way too thick and way too costly. Because the layered learning material is available online at the Consonus site, the content can be vast. Applying layered learning to your guitar class will greatly enhance the development of your students' progress and provide you with content to make your teaching more effective and comfortable. Not only can the benefits of layered learning be applied to classroom instruction, but the private teacher will also find the application of layered learning a valuable tool in teaching private students. Because the progress of each student varies so much, the private student could assign different levels of skills to the students and still progress through the lessons without having to be constantly skipping around and rearranging the order of the lessons. From what I've explained, I hope you're able to catch the vision and advantages of using layered learning in your teaching. I've seen it work, and I know if it's used correctly, what a powerful tool it can be.